The following article is from the Baltimore American, 1892.
Were the mound builders of America differently constructed from men of today? Were there more giants among them than there are now among the white race? Or were they a fading race of giants, leaving their footprints behind that other races might know they existed? Their history was not written in books, but builded in their mounds, which held their works of art, implements of war, and working utensils. Had the mound builder as defined an anatomical distinction? Were their skulls as a rule formed differently from ours? These questions forced themselves upon my mind when I examined a skull found in the castle mound, which contained 5 Worbian bones, and heard the history connected with the mound. This mound is on what is known as the Castle Farm, about 5 miles south of here, and was first opened in 1884 by Honorable James C. McGraw and others. They found a peculiar-shaped stone pipe, a stone relic in the shape of an hourglass, which was neatly and mechanically made, and, no doubt, had been used for the purpose of recording time. Historian Wiley says of this hourglass, "It might be captured and placed in the mound for safekeeping by an Indian, as the mound builders are supposed to have left Egypt when the sundial was used, and before the invention and introduction of the hourglass." In 1881, an exploration of this mound was made, and in the bottom was a layer of bones, men, women, and children having been buried, in a sitting posture, in a circle, with their feet out. Bits of charcoal scattered through ashes, also the bones showing to a greater or less extent the effects of fire, tell plainly the story that they burned their dead. Above this layer a couple of feet is a second layer buried in the same manner as the first, and directly above it, in the top, are found other remains. Every skull found in this mound contained Worbian bones, i.e., extra bones found in the sutures of the bones of the cranium, and named from Claus Worbians, who is said to have first discovered them. Although they are genetically found on top of the skull, they are quite rare. Occasionally, a skull is found containing one of 2, but one of these skulls had 5 of these extra bones on the top sutures of the skull. A great many skulls were found in this mound, but they were so brittle, from the effects of fire no doubt, that they could not be taken out without crumbling to pieces. The top of every skull showed the Worbiana. The skulls were long and narrow, with low foreheads and long, narrow faces. The wonderfully large bones found interspersed through the bottom layer show that there were giants among them at least 7 feet high, whilst the majority would indicate heights of 5 feet 8 inches to 6 feet. If it is speculation, then, to say that they were a fading race of giants, with these data, what of the scientific men who construct whole skeletons, even giving us the contour and outline of prehistoric animals when they have but 1 or 2 bones to start from? The mound builders sought a warmer climate in the sunny south, probably forced to do so by the oncoming Indian. A few pieces of the incinerated bones, some arrowheads, Indian hatchets, etc., were found in a mound on the farm of Isaac Elliott, 2 miles from here. The late Dr. Trippitt had a very fine specimen of the Indian hatchet. It is made of the hardest granite, beautifully bespeckled, and very smooth. He had also an arrowhead of the white flint, almost perfect in form. The doctor also owned a very small arrowhead, about the size of a man's thumbnail. It is exceedingly sharp and the most perfect ever seen in this country. When found, it had a film of something on it and was bitter and puckering to the taste. It required an acid solution to remove and was thought to be a poisoned arrow. The smallest specimen of an Indian hatchet found here was made of granite and was about 2 inches by 1. Many years ago there were 3 mounds on the Andrew Golf Farm in this vicinity. 2 of them have been torn down, and but 1 remains. There is another on the old McGill Farm and one near here which await the explorer.